Hello, and welcome to the show. Ever considered what's happening right beneath your feet deep down? We take the ground for granted, assuming it's solid, stable. But what if I told you that in many of our biggest cities, the very earth is slowly, silently sinking? It's not science fiction. It's a real phenomenon called land subsidence, and it's a critical challenge we urgently need to address. So what exactly is this sinking city phenomenon? Land subsidence is, quite simply, the lowering or sinking of the land's surface. It's not usually a dramatic, sudden collapse, but a gradual process that can go unnoticed for years, until the damage starts to show. And it's a particular problem for our bustling urban centers. How do we even know this is happening? Scientists use some pretty cool tech, collectively part of urban geodesy. Think super-precise satellite radar called INSAR, which can detect tiny ground movements from space, or GPS networks constantly tracking elevation changes. These tools paint a clear picture. INSAR. Now, why do cities sink? There are natural causes, like the slow compaction of soils, especially in coastal areas, or tectonic movements. But the big culprit, the main driver in most sinking cities today, is us. Human activity. The number one cause: excessive groundwater extraction. Imagine aquifers, these underground layers of rock and soil saturated with water. When we pump out too much water, too fast, the pressure that helps support the land above drops. The layers compact, and the ground sinks. Think of it like letting air out of an inflatable mattress. It sags. Other human factors include drilling for oil and gas, mining, and sometimes even the sheer weight of massive city buildings on soft ground. Okay, so the ground is sinking a bit. Why is this such a big deal? Well, the consequences are far-reaching and serious. First, our infrastructure takes a hit. Buildings can crack and tilt. Roads and bridges can warp. Underground pipes for water and gas can break. This all leads to incredibly costly repairs and service disruptions. Ecclesy. Then there's the increased flood risk. As land sinks, especially in coastal cities or areas near rivers, they become much more vulnerable to flooding, whether it's from heavy rain or storm surges. And this problem is made even worse by rising sea levels due to climate change. Environmentally, subsidence can lead to saltwater seeping into our freshwater supplies, damaging ecosystems. Economically, we're talking enormous costs for repairs, mitigation, and lost property value. And let's not forget the social impact on people's lives and safety. Just to give you an idea of how widespread this is, research published in May 2025 indicated that all 28 of the most populous cities in the United States are experiencing some level of land sinking, primarily due to groundwater extraction. Houston was identified as the fastest sinking city in this study, with some areas subsiding at rates exceeding 5 millimeters per year. That might not sound like much, but even small, uneven sinking can wreak havoc on city structures over time. It sounds daunting, but there are ways to fight back and build more resilient cities. The absolute key is sustainable groundwater management. We need to reduce how much groundwater we're pumping. This means finding alternative water sources. Think purified surface water, desalination, or even collecting rainwater. We also need to be smarter about water use, conserve it, and fix leaky pipes. Some cities are even artificially recharging aquifers, essentially pumping water back underground. Beyond water, we need to design and build smarter. New infrastructure should be built to withstand some ground movement. Existing vulnerable buildings can be retrofitted. Urban planning is also crucial. We need to factor in subsidence risk when deciding where and how to build. Maybe limiting development in the riskiest zones. Think about sponge cities too. Creating more green spaces and permeable surfaces so rainwater can soak into the ground naturally. And of course, we need to keep watching. Advanced monitoring using those geodetic techniques I mentioned helps us track changes and identify problem areas early. Collaboration between governments, scientists, and communities is essential, and raising public awareness helps everyone get on board with conservation efforts. The challenge of our sinking cities is real and complex. It's a silent threat, but one we can't afford to ignore. By understanding the science, embracing innovative solutions, and working together, we can protect our urban environments and build a more stable, sustainable future for everyone living in them. Thanks for tuning in today.